So hello everybody. At Style Optique, most of you know that we are passionate about helping you, our clients, celebrate your individuality through your eyewear choices. And a lot of thought really goes into the pieces and the collections that we carry in practice. And it's really important to us to have strong relationships with you and with our eyewear designers. And we love and support independent eyewear designers from around the world. They are the artisans, the craftsmen and women, the creative thinkers, the change makers. And today I would like to introduce my personal style icon, Gai Gherardi, and she is the co-founder of the legendary eyewear brand LA Eyeworks, one of our more artistic collections. And I have met Gai before. I've met her in Paris, and I was absolutely in awe of her and her journey. And she's an inspiration to me as a woman. And I just wanted you as our clients to understand and to see the person and the passion and the love really behind the brand and the eyewear that you're wearing each day. So hello, Gai.
Hello, Eva. So good to see you.
So good to see you.
And what a wonderful introduction, and
Thank you.
just a shared passion and heart for eyewear that was instantly felt by us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and I just think the second I met you, that the energy that you have is just incredible. I'd really like, I know you've shared this with me before, but just for the benefits of our clients, could you, because you have such an interesting backstory, tell us how you got into eyewear in the first place?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's long, and I'll try to abbreviate for you. But it was really by chance. And it was with my very best friend from high school, Barbara McReynolds, who got a job. We wanted a summer job. Well, we were looking for a summer job so we could begin an adventure. And, I mean, it's laughable now, but what we needed was we needed to earn some money to take a hitchhiking trip. We thought this was like the biggest thing that was our dream. And so Barbara got shop in Lido Island near Newport Beach, and she said, "Gai, this is the coolest gig in the world. You're gonna love it. I think I could get you a job." Well, okay, great, come on. So that's what it was about. That's really how it began. The incredible thing about it was that it was called Rose Optical, and it was owned by a gentleman named Ed Rose. And he literally, on that first day, Barbara started one day, I started 2 days later. He taught us, he just put us under his wing, and he taught us how to decenter a lens, how to take facial measurements. We even learned how, by the first week, we were decentering and edging lenses. I mean, it was a crash course in, I think, trust. But, it was a different time, and it's all quite laughable now. But at the time, we just took it so seriously. And so then Ed wrote, what he would do is he'd go off and play golf all day. And he put me in one store and Barbara in the other store. And that was it. And at the end of the day, if there were things we couldn't answer or special, he would come back in and he'd round it all up and he'd give us a lesson. And we just took it absolutely, as something that was fantastic. And I have to say, the very first time that, and it was the same for Barbara, and we've spoken about this many times, that you put a pair of glasses on someone, touched behind their head, looked them in the eye, there's just an instant connection. This isn't selling shoes. This is a connection to something so much bigger. And if you like people, glasses are such a fantastic conduit for communication. And that's really, yeah.
So how did you go from working in that optical shop and then getting into designing?
Well, that evolution, it was an evolution. And certainly in the beginning, Barbara and I'm sure we didn't think we would be doing this for our life. It was just a great thing. a wonderful thing. And it was going to take us to the next thing. And maybe I was going to be an architect. Maybe Barbara was going to be a scientist or a psychiatrist. We had a lot of possibilities out there. But we kept working. That kept being our job that, kept us going. Well, eventually Ed Rose would say, why don't you get your license? I know you won't do this forever, but why don't you do this? And we would go along with that just as is in the course of the day. And finally we realized, look, this is fabulous. It's time to start saving our money and open a store. And so that's what we did. We just said, okay, this is so much more here for us. And this is something that we really can,
Yeah.
our dough, and we opened our first store in 1979 on Melrose Avenue. It's still there today. And when we did that, there was really nothing for us to buy that was really of interest to us. And it was a time of, and all these things are fabulous now. But then in 1979, it was like, oh my God, we need a paradigm shift. And it was all about giant logos, swooping temples. And that was it. And we made a deal with Barbara and I had a pact with ourselves. We're not going to sell anything in our store that has a logo on it on the outside. And we're not going to have any drop temples. That was just our thing, and that didn't leave us very much to buy. And so we wanted to figure out, well, where are our glasses made, and so we, boldly, we called places like Bosch and Loam and, those were the places we knew. We called them and we said, hey, we want to design eyewear kind of. And it was all very convivial, but there were not a lot of answers to say. So that was the very beginning before we had opened the doors. So we were forced then to we started looking for unused vintage eyewear that we could manipulate, or current backstock from manufacturers that we felt we could do something to. Like, we found an American company called Chiron Continental, and they made a frame called a Nooser. And it came in this like beigey color, but we looked at it, we thought, oh, we can dye this. This will take the dye. And so we bought literally hundreds of those because we had, in our shop, we were not selling those at the time. We were not a brand, we were our store. And we would dye them. We dyed them in a palette of, maybe 25 colors until they ran out. And it was a very hip thing. People had to have them. It was a cool thing. And that's how it began. But little by little, there was really they could do to things that existed. We had drilled them, we had sandblasted them, we had dyed them, and this was all to just have product in our stores. And so finally, we had a friend whose husband was Swiss, and he said, I will accompany you, let's go look, let's go looking. Well, simultaneously, there was a store soon to know, and it was owned by a woman named Michelle Lamy. And currently, you probably know Michelle Lamy as the partner of Rick Owens, the clothing brand. Well, she had a little store on Santa Monica Boulevard, and we used to buy her glasses. And just when we were kind of lining all this up, she said, I come from the optical business. My father has a factory in Oyonnax and in France. And we thought, oh my God, this was fantastic. So our Swiss friend said, well, I'll accompany you to Oyonnax. So this is how it began. We went to France, knocked on some doors. Literally, we found out where glasses were made, knocked on some factory doors. And we went to the factory at the time of the father of Michel Lamy. And we had a drawing, and we said, really, basically, if you will make this for us, we'll make you famous. And that was so silly. I mean, that was just our courage. Right? I say that was our chutzpah, and and that's how it began. And we developed a beautiful relationship. We manufactured in France for many years in that factory until we began a very similar relationship in Italy. And that's really how it began. And, one of the things Barbara and I said after, because it was kind of hard to get to that place. And, we just said along the way, we're going to answer questions. We're going to tell people how things are done. Let's not make it so hard. Like, this is no secret. Here's where the factories are. Here's how it's done. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that about you. There's definitely a lot of heart in your company with a lot of the things you do, because you really support artists and things like that as well, don't you?
Yes. Well, our history, it's interesting. Thank you for saying that. And yes, we do. That's been our community. And it was, I can't say when we set out that, oh, well, we're going to, we weren't calling it those kinds of things in the beginning. We didn't know, but we were much more interested. For us, the thrill was when an artist would come into our shop and want glasses. And the thrill was when somebody who was creative would come in. And it was much more important to us than a movie star. And this is Hollywood, and we have access to that public. But what was so much more incredible to us is when an artist would come to get glasses from us. And so that began, and it happened very early on. And that began just, that relationship. And in fact, along that, what happened is, in a way, sometimes in the very beginning, we've often alienated the fashion press because of that, because we've been so interested in design and that relationship with artists. And sometimes, and the fashion press looks often at another angle. And that's not to say that we haven't bridged them, but our real passion has been in that community of artists.
When you're designing your collections, where do your ideas come from? What inspires you? Do you have anything in mind, or does it?
Oh, Eva, I think it's such a broad, it's kind of, I feel like all self-inflated to say, oh, this happens. I think what happens is, we are infinitely curious, and Barbara and I have both and it was really, Barbara has always says, I'm curious about that. Let's be curious. And that's it. This curiosity has remained for us. And so our interests are broad. We have an interest they're broad, and they can be sparked by so many things. I mean, it can be the way that a bit of light hits on a piece of chrome when you're driving at the ocean, and you just all of a sudden see a color, and then it smells a certain way. And then somebody drives by with loud music on, and all of a sudden it all just comes together, and you just think, yeah, it isn't it didn't make that, it didn't articulate something specific, but what it did is it just gave you a feeling of, oh yeah, this life is, fabulous. And here's how I'm going to take a piece of it. And this is what it feels like right now. And so it's something like that. Or it could be that, I think maybe I told you the story, but I have California desert tortoises. Both Barbara and I adopted them many, many years ago and rescued them, but they go into a deep sleep all winter. But when they wake up in the spring, something happens, and you're just made to look at everything differently. And it just fills you with, this curiosity and wonder that I hope, translates somewhere along the line. And that's some of it. And but the other thing is, I have to say, it's the face. I mean, it's the endless canvas. It's the endless landscape. It's just, that's what it is about. It's not about matching something, or it's about, making a vehicle of expression and connection. And that's what eyewear is. It's for us.
Exactly. And when I'm trying to think how to articulate this now, there's a lot of feeling in you. Like, you can see there's a lot of feeling and a lot of passion that goes into your designs. And I feel when I put a client in one of your pairs of glasses, that it's almost, they feel it. It's like something happens.
Well, that's that's the very most wonderful thing you could say, because really, at the end of the day, when you pick up a pair of LA
Yeah.
Eyeworks glasses, I hope they're vibrating with the story of us. I mean, that's what I hope. And that sounds, no, I don't mean it like bigger than it is. I mean it that it is just, I hope you get a little spark of what this is about for us, and you feel it, and it gives you freedom. That's a freedom, to express yourself in a way that's completely for you. And that would be the very best gift ever. And it's so incredibly wonderful that you said that.
Oh, well, the other thing is about your designs I love about your brand particularly is not only are the designs so creative, colourful, unique shapes, unique textures, they're actually extremely comfortable to wear. And even some of the heavier looking designs are often very lightweight, and that's unusual in a brand. So there's obviously a lot of thought goes into not just the aesthetic but also into the feel, the touch, all of that side of it as well.
Well, I mean, we're optical nerds. We began as opticians. That's our first that's our love. And so we come from that. We come from, the mathematics of that. We come from that. And so, there was nothing more exciting in the beginning than just to have all that be a part of, the DNA for us. So thank you for saying that as well. And it's very important to us. It's not just about, that statement, just about that, but it is about the integration of it. And in fact, I think, for integrating the medical, the fashion, the design, those are things that come together in this object as eyewear that when it's done well, it's just it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, to me, eyewear is our most visible accessory, and I'm sure you've got multiple pairs the same as me. Now I see you a lot of it. How many pairs have you got, Gai, actually? How many pairs?
You know what? It's so not even fair to ask. I've got 45 years worth. And do I wear them all? No. But do I have them? Yes. And and I go on jags. I go on jags of I just have to have yellow, and so I wear yellow glasses. Right now I've been on a yellow glasses spree for a few years. And so, but they change, and I have several pair of yellow glasses. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, I've got loads as well.
Yeah.
I've got loads.
Yeah.
Loads. I am eyewear obsessed, and many of our clients are eyewear obsessed. I think we need to set up a support group or something like that.
Yeah, right. We just have a chat.
It does have such an impact on how you feel about yourself and your confidence and how other people respond to you when you get that eyewear right, and it's right for you as a person. And I think a lot of opticians and things who don't understand that, they're just missing so much in what they can offer what we can offer our clients and what we can do for people, because we really can make a difference. And a lot of that comes from you amazing designers like you that just start that kind of creative process. And
well, it's so lucky to be in this time of it, because you have such a paint box to offer from, and there are brilliant, beautiful designs. My peers are just incredible designers, and so as I said, the paint box from which to draw right now is just could not be better. And it's true. And it doesn't, there's so many angles to it, and it's not that one person has to look, not about that. It's not about the uniformity of, okay, this is the. It's really about how this individually speaks to you and how it conveys. And as you said, what it gives you. And what is better than a great haircut and a pair of glasses? Come on. It's like, or even a fabulous pair of glasses and no haircut, and you're just dressed, it's just really, it's just a miraculous accessory. Barbara always used to say, actually, that glasses are the fashion and clothing is the accessory.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I mean, I always say dress face first.
totally,
Get
yeah,
the glasses,
beautiful,
and then I'll get the outfit. That's the way
totally,
it is
yeah,
today. There's a
totally.
couple of designs that you've got out at the moment that I just think are fabulous. The Jupiter, that
Oh, thanks.
shape, and the castanet.
Thank you. Oh, I love both of those. Thank you.
It's fabulous
Yeah.
shape. And I remember when the Jason came, our LA Eyeworks rep, and I kind of looked it in the case and I thought, I'm not sure how I feel about that shape. But the second it went on a face,
Yeah.
it was amazing. And I love it.
Yeah.
Shapes of, and there's all different colours in this as well, isn't there? So where did you get the inspiration from that shape from?
It was, and I think I wanted to just sort of bring that. There's so many people that have no affinity for a cat eye or an uplift or whatever you're wanting to call it, and I thought, okay, how can we? Just how can we play with this a little bit? And so traditionally that brow shape is a little bit neutral, and it can bring some people down. So I just thought, oh, let's just put that little twist on there, and let's just imply that we're raising everything up. And and successfully. And it's also really wonderful when something will just sit right on your brow, which I think that shape does. And then
that's why it's so perfect, because it does just follow under the brow, and then it does give the lift of a cat eye without you having to go that extreme if you don't want to. We've done this for men and women. It's a great shape. And
so happy to hear that.
This one's quite new, isn't it? This is like a variation of a cat eye, but you've got a lot of the
so we brought some
really interesting shape.
Brought some bubbles into it, and it also makes it it just brings a little bit of calmness into a cat eye, if that's not for you, but it's still quite expressive.
I mean, I love the cat eye anyway.
Oh, I do. I know, I do too. There's not
I wanted to talk to you about a little bit about because I know that Elton John comes to you, doesn't he?
What's that?
Elton John comes to you, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, yes, yes, he does, for many years.
Does he deal directly with you? Does he
Actually,
want you to go, Gai?
Well, let me say this. He has been dealing directly now with our manager at the Melrose store for a number of years, because I'm not there. But in prior to that, absolutely, yes. And yes, I mean, it's just been an incredible relationship over the years. And what's to say? It's there's no one like him.
I can tell that you're a little bit. That's not what it's about for you, is it? It's not about getting these celebs and all this, that, and the other.
Well, what it is about, I will tell you, and with Elton, is that he is so incredible. You would think he has thousands of pairs of glasses, and literally he has gotten that many from us as well, and he gets them from many people. He is so wonderful. If he's has something, and maybe he got 10 of them or 15 of them, and he says, and he comes in and he's looking, and he'll say, oh, I don't have that color. He remembers, or he'll say, oh, I gave this one to so and so, and I need another. Or he's always been so. It's not just like this sort of thing at all. It's always been about he sees them, he understands them, they speak to him, and that's just been the most incredible thing. So it's that's a combination that you just it's magical. Yeah.
Your whole journey, I mean, it sounds to me like you never really had a plan or a goal. It sounds like it was quite intuitive, and each step kind of, am I right there, or did it?
No, you're completely right. We laugh about I mean, I don't know, it came to me a while back, I was speaking to someone and I said, there's so much conversation about brand. I'm building a brand and every person is a brand and you're your own brand and you're brand. I mean, when did we become a brand? Was something, I mean, we were flying by the seat of our pants. That's, my expression for what we do, and trusting in our decisions, trusting in the next thing to do because it was fun. And as Barbara said, listen, if someone likes what we do today, we can open our doors again tomorrow. And this is kind of how we have done it. And that's, I don't want that to sound frivolous, because that's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of working all night, a lot of all those kinds of things that it takes. And there's a lot of luck, because a lot of people work very hard with all their heart, and still it doesn't manifest in the way that they wanted. We have just been incredibly, incredibly fortunate, and in that, and also I think that it's just that your successes somehow are liberating, that they don't confine you. It's so important that it gives you a chance to try something else then, or a little more freedom to do a little more than you imagined before that. So no, we didn't set out to to do that. We set out to ask you to look at eyewear in a different way. That's what we did. We wanted you to see it from our perspective, from the inside of our store. And then as our store grew and we became making glasses as a brand, as an international brand, we wanted you to see glasses from our angle. It started in the store, that we wanted you to see how they were represented. We wanted you to see the space around them. We wanted to declutter, and we wanted you to look at all that perspective. And that's really, we just were asking. And we also wanted to be of service. That was a really big thing for us, that if we wanted to be of service, find a way in life to be of service somehow. And so that
Sorry, I was reading when you first set up your store in 1979, wasn't it, that you had a logo, changing faces, facing the change. And I thought, how relevant is that to now?
Oh my God. Wow.
You've got some amazing taglines. You are the queen of amazing, because you have so many of them.
That was as we were opening our store, we did it. We had it, changing the face, facing the change, and that, yeah. Well, that was also has been and continues to be such an important conversation for us, is to keep our windows talking. We call it, it's kind of the original social media for us, was just our shop windows. And then we were able to cast that out into our bigger business.
And what about your, so you're quite well known, aren't you, for this concept of uncensored vision? Can you explain to me what
does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was for us is, a lot of times, and I think you being so incredibly creative with the way that you style, I think you're asking people, you're giving permission. So a lot of times we self-censor, and by self-censoring, we take it down to a place that, it's just like it becomes smaller. So we're asking it to get bigger. Don't censor yourself. Let yourself see it all. Maybe it's not for you, but let's have a look. Let's just have a look at what the possibilities are. So that's what it is for us.
No, I think that's amazing. I think there's so many layers to that, isn't there, as well?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people dial themselves down, in your words, in life and in their own clothing choices and in their own eyewear choices, and they're trying to conform to what society wants them to be. And we've sort of noticed that sort of there's a lot of, particularly women, but men as well, when they hit a certain age, between about 40 and 50, something changes in them. And something says, no more.
No more.
I'm ready to be myself, and yeah. So I noticed that seems to be the kind of age where people are ready to be themselves, or not censor themselves anymore.
Yeah. And I think, yes, and it is for both, but especially women have had a rough go in that, because there's so much, there's so sort of the subtleties. They can be subtle or they cannot be subtle, but that conformity box has been very, very hard on a lot of women, for sure. And not to exempt men, because also, and the boxes that, whether it was that I have to perform a certain way at a job, or I have to look a certain way to be professional, or I have to do these and things. And that sort of, I think in the beginning, maybe you don't have the courage for, to step outside of that. And the ramifications, I don't even pretend to guess. And I'm not ever wanting to say they're not real. I'm just wanting to say, okay, can we look at it in a different way? And is there a possibility there that this is going to bring you, license for something else, confidence, or, it's mostly about self-confidence. And
it just reminds me of something. We had a lady who was really quite classic in a style put on one of your frames, and she went, "Oh, I feel like I could be naughty." And it was just like she put it on, and she was like, "Oh, I feel like you do feel slightly different, don't you?" And it does sometimes. It gives you the permission to
absolutely
be a bit more playful, I think.
Well, and why not? Yeah, and why not? Well, I mean, really, when you think about it, what is there? I mean, really, what objects in life are there that provide you with so many possibilities? I mean, I don't want to, I don't want it to sound like voodoo here, but seriously, your eyewear, you can be naughty, you can be provocative, you can go behind and be mysterious, you can come serious, it alter the possibilities for altering your persona with one object. It's incredible. And the fact that it can change for you, and those are kind of amazing. It's kind of very poetic to me that possibility exists in a pair of eyewear.
Yeah. I think it's I just think it's amazing what you do. Well, a lot of the creative eyewear designers out there.
Wow. We eyewear, thank you, and we eyewear designers are really, this is all you're speaking for us, and I so appreciate that you do that in such a beautiful way, because that's been something that has really come up, and it's the bar has risen, and it's really thanks to the likes of you, who do such a terrific job of representing the possibilities and taking such care, with your clients, and really, knowing their story, knowing what it's about, understanding how it's going to work. And I hope that while our conversation is fun and is frivolous, there's also that side that the object is expensive, and it's a big decision, and you're going to live with it for some time, and it should have some traction, and you want it to have all those things, and it can. And so there you are.
Reason though, because it is an investment purchase, and all the more reason that it's perfect for you, that it's right for you, that it makes you feel a certain way.
Right.
I think that's even more important. One of the things, actually, I've heard you describe your brand as is courageous. Is that kind of,
yeah,
your comfort zone? And I mean, you live and breathe your brand as well, don't you? I know you don't like the word brand, but you live and breathe. You are LA Eyeworks.
Well, I'm a part of it. We are, we're a mighty crew, and we very much love each other, and we're in it together. So yes, I do, but there's much more to it than me. And each of the players as part of the constellation. It's a constellation, and and we spark on each other and we speak. Yes, it's really, I'm so fortunate. So you see me, but there's so many others that make this look, the way it does. Yeah.
Well, it's been fabulous talking to you, Gai.
You too.
And,
You
I'll let
too. And
you
I hope you'll go have a drink maybe.